Hard Truths, episode 19. The wildest and craziest movie theories.
Too wild and crazy guys!
I've got a really interesting video for you guys today where I'm going to be reviewing some of the craziest movie conspiracy theories out there. So for today's video, I was sort of like rushed for time because on Saturday was my 20th birthday.
Happy birthday! How did you guys know today is my birthday?
We just do what the invitations say. Let's bugger some more.
I'm also going on a family vacation in a few days. So like I was thinking of a topic that like wouldn't take a ton of like editing on my part. So over the past few days, I've been digging into some research and I've been reviewing some of the craziest theories out there when it comes to some of the most popular movies. We're going to be diving into the Marvel Universe. We're going to be going into Toy Story, Shrek, The Incredibles, mostly animated movies, but like also some of the most popular movies of all time that may have some like hidden meanings.
Opening the secret compartment of my secret box.
That like many of us may not have caught on to. So you guys are going to want to stick around for this because I have some mind-blowing theories out there. And once again, I'm not sure how many of these are true. Some of these may be reach, but it's definitely going to be a lot of fun to look into these. So without further ado, let's dive into the video now. Horror Truths, can you guys handle the truth on the Rabbit Hole Roundup channel?
I want the truth!
The truth? You want the truth?
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Let's find out now. What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jared Weiss. If you guys didn't know that, it must mean that you're not subscribed to the channel, so you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on this video. Follow me on every platform, and also if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to buy my book, Fight Through It, by Jared Weiss. All the links to purchase it are on my website, which is jaredbryanweiss.com. That's JAREDRYANWEISS.com. I've been getting tons of great feedback. A lot of people have been super inspired, have been getting super emotional, but I need your guys' support. I need all the help I can get in getting the word out there, getting the message out there, so this way we can help people and you guys can help me. Also, if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my 20th birthday video reflection, which is on the Jared and James channel right now. This is powerful life lessons that I've learned in this past year. And if you guys feel compelled, wish me a happy birthday in the comments. If you guys are a fan of what I'm doing or not, it's up to you. Anyways, let's dive into some of these theories like I've been researching the past few days. Some of these are going to blow your mind.
Oh, blown away!
So first off, we have an obvious one for those of you who aren't living under a rock. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard this one, which is the Pixar theory, which is one of the most notorious fan theories in cinema. The spurious hypothesis seeks to situate all films produced by Pixar within the same canonical universe. There's fodder enough to support this idea. Characters are cropping up in other films. In blink and you'll miss some Easter eggs. And sure enough, in 2017, Pixar shared a video that seemed to confirm that this theory had legs. With each new release, however, the theory becomes a little bit more tenuous. But if you guys watch Monsters Inc., for instance, has Nemo from Finding Nemo.
That's cute, yeah. Well, that's very nice.
If you watch The Incredibles, there's like another very interesting theory, which is shared in one of my Leftover Lies episodes, which is that Mr. Incredible may have actually killed Bruce's father.
I never knew my father.
Come here. In every Pixar movie, if you guys look close enough, you can find one of these Easter eggs. You guys can find one of these things that actually connects one movie to the others, which makes it seem like it's all part of a bigger Pixar universe, which connects all the movies. So that one probably isn't news to most of you, but like I did want to share that because that was like the first one that came up in one of the articles I was looking at. But we're going to get progressively more interesting, so hang with me.
Hang loose.
Next, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy theory. Everyone is swearing except Peter Quill. Interesting, I never realized that. As shared on Reddit by a user, this theory explains why all the characters in Guardians of the Galaxy cuss and swear like they're in a film for kids. In the movie, many of the alien characters are not in fact speaking English.
I am Groot.
But are having their language translated for Peter Quill, Chris Pratt, and the audience via Quill's universal translator. Interesting. Quill, however, was abducted from Earth when he was still a small child, meaning the kinds of swear words that these rough and ready rogues are using simply wouldn't be in his vocabulary. So, could this have to do with like the fact that Peter actually came from Earth but then got abducted, so like he's not familiar with some of the swear words that are coming from some of his extraterrestrial or alien counterparts? Could be. Interesting. I never knew that.
I've been through a lot. My father killed my mother, and then I had to kill my father. That was hard.
Probably even harder than having to kill a sister.
Next up, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Not a reward, but a punishment. And I actually have two theories when it comes to this video, when it comes to this movie. But so first off, Willy Wonka is a sicko. There's no hiding this, of course. The man spends the majority of the film's runtime doling out bespoke punishments to a gaggle of small children. At the end, he rewards the pure-hearted Charlie Bucket with inheritance of his magical chocolate factory. What this theory, put forward by a Reddit user, posits is that the ending is not a happy one at all. Rather, by bestowing the factory on little Charlie, Wonka is inflicting his worst punishment of all, a lifetime spent being a dysfunctional, vindictive recluse.
Oh my God.
The theory casts a pretty dark pale over what was already a prickly, sharp-edged kid's fable. I actually have three different theories when it comes to the Willy Wonka movie. So the next theory I have, which actually isn't a theory, but like it's actually a very wild rabbit hole truth I have here. So, for any of you guys who watched the movie, the original movie that is.
We have to get on, we have so much time and so little to do. Strike that. Reverse it.
Because like it's been remade like 3 or 4 times now. But the unsettling reason why Willy Wonka's tunnel scene feels so terrifying. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is not a horror movie. Sure, much of the plot revolves around an eccentric recluse who lures unsuspecting children and their guardians into his chocolate factory to endure potentially life-threatening tests so he can secure an heir. And yes, the factory is powered by the slave labor of musically inclined orange little people, but it is still a well-loved children's movie that has captivated audiences for 50 years since its initial release in 1971. Obviously, its status as a classic family film does not negate some of the more disturbing elements of the film and vice versa. This brings me to one of the most arguably unsettling things about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the infamous tunnel scene, which is very dark, very scary for those of you guys who've seen it. If you've seen the movie at least once, I'm sure you know the one.
Hey, Wonka, I want off! Round the world and home again. That's the sailor's way. Faster! Hang on, darling.
There's no earthly way of knowing.
Rowing for the rowers. Keep on rowing, and they're certainly not showing any signs that they are slowing.
The scene has been regarded by many as one of the most frightening scenes in a non-horror movie, and I think viewers can all agree that it is at least objectively jarring, and as it turns out, viewers weren't the only ones who found themselves unsettled or outright terrified by the scene. Even the actors found themselves unsettled on that day. In this scene, Willy Wonka himself ushers everyone onto his boat and proceeds to recite a strange poem, beginning quietly and then increasing both the volume and fervor of his recitation until it becomes a frightening display of insanity.
Serenity now, insanity later.
As if that isn't scary enough, this display is accompanied by the rapid flashing of light as disturbing imagery, like that millipede crawling across a man's face, flickers across the screen. I'm actually deathly afraid of bugs. A lot of insects scare the hell out of me. I've gotten over some of the fears of them, but like to this day, a lot of bugs still scare me. So it turns out the actors actually didn't know what to expect. The stars of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory had some understanding of what was to come for the boat scene, but they weren't prepared for the intensity of Gene Wilder's delivery. The result is a sensory nightmare coupled with an over-the-top performance from an extremely dedicated actor whose co-stars weren't 100% privy to how things would play out. So here's the thing. The fear of wondering if they were actually watching their talented co-star lose his mind in real time, combined with the disorienting visual effects, resulted in authentic reactions from the other co-stars present. The lack of forewarning meant that the actors, child and adult alike, were all genuinely just as terrified, shocked, and unnerved as audiences continue to be half a century later. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with this idea, but like I've also heard the theory like Gene Wilder may have been on like a mushroom trip or a psychedelic trip, or possibly his character might be representative of that. Which, timing-wise, if you think about it, 1970s, that's like around the same time that like all the MKUltra experiments were happening, and it's also like around the time when LSD and all these psychedelics started to become so popular as our CIA was searching for mind control drugs. So, I wouldn't put that past them either. That whole scene has always freaked me out, like, ever since like the first time I watched it, ever since the first time my parents showed me that movie, and that's crazy to think like the actors themselves had no idea like that scene was coming, or had no idea how Gene Wilder was gonna act in that scene. So now I'm gonna go to Reddit, which has another very interesting Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory theory. Around the 29-minute mark, the 5th golden ticket is found, reported on the news as Charlie is going to sleep. Charlie hears this and is falling asleep as his grandfather says, "Let him sleep. Let him have one last dream. I submit to you that the entire rest of the movie is Charlie's dream after hearing that he no longer has a chance to win the contest which he imagined could change his life.
You've got it! You've got the last golden ticket! The kids found the last golden ticket!
Prior to this moment, Charlie's life is sad and difficult. His family is so poor that they can barely afford to eat. Charlie is barely even the main character prior to this point. The story jumps around from character to character. After this point, Charlie is in every scene. In fact, one time the group moves ahead without him. We see nothing of what happens until Charlie arrives. Once the children leave, the group are never seen again. Prior to this scene, all the winners are basically what you would expect to get. Rich, spoiled kids.
Hey, Daddy, I want a golden goose.
Here we go again.
Charlie barely even had a bar to open. Suddenly, Charlie is in class telling everyone how he barely even had a chance to win. Moments later, he happens to find money in a storm drain to buy multiple candy bars. He buys one regular Wonka bar and moments later finds out that there never was a fifth winner, and lo and behold, his bar had the last winning ticket. Suddenly his bedridden grandfather can just sit up and dance around, and now at the factory everything is perfect for Charlie. A waiver to sign that the rich kids are worried about, but we've got nothing to lose, a piece of gum that is a 4-course meal, a candy that literally lasts forever, repeated confirmations of how bad the other kids are, rather than a lifetime supply of chocolate, not that useful for a poor family. He actually gets the whole factory, food, shelter, and wealth for his family. Everything in the factory is of a dreamlike quality. That actually would make a lot of sense for the whole movie to actually be like a dream that's actually going on in Charlie's head. Interesting stuff. And then, going along those lines, could the whole tunnel scene actually be a nightmare that he's experiencing as part of his dream? And with all these like little people like, who sing all these songs. Very interesting theory. The more that I think about it, that actually makes some sense. Next up, we have another theory that I actually shared in my Shrek Hard Truths video, but just to bring it back again in the theme of this video, in case you guys didn't get a chance to watch that one, which is still on the Jared and James channel, I believe, which is that Donkey was a Pleasure Island child. The beloved children's animation Shrek draws from a plethora of classic children's fairy tales, giving them an irreverent 21st century spin. Eddie Murphy's Donkey, however, was one of the few characters not rooted in a famous story. Or was he? Of course, you have the Gingerbread Man, you have Pinocchio.
I'm wearing ladies' underwear.
Are you?
So, viewers have speculated that Donkey is in fact one of the wayward children from Pinocchio who was transformed into a donkey on Pleasure Island and sold into slavery, which, if you guys remember, the old lady is trying to sell him off. There are nuggets that support this interpretation, of course. The character makes fleeting references to past, seemingly human experiences, wedgies, and no one seems to have seen a talking donkey before.
Hey, I can fly.
He can fly.
He can fly.
He can talk.
That's right, fool.
And could he actually be Pinocchio's friend, Lampwick? Which I have like a whole theory about, which I spoke about already. Next up, we have The Shining, Kubrick's moon landing confession, which I believe, as you guys know, I believe that like the whole moon landing is totally fake, total nonsense. I don't think it's even possible to land on the moon. And why has all the technology been lost? Why is the footprint not matched the boot? How do you explain the occurrence of lunar waves? Why do we only see one half of the lunar phase? NASA, not a space agency. $25 billion go there every year for them to send back CGI and tell us like why it's too dangerous to go back there. But anyways, this says, I'm not sure any film has been as endlessly theorized about as Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. So deep and labyrinthine that there was a whole documentary film focusing on some of the biggest ones called Room 237. One outlandish theory argued that Kubrick had used the film to admit his involvement in faking the Apollo 11 moon landing and had even used his 1968 film 2001 A Space Odyssey as research and development project, which is like what I believe actually. And also you guys could listen to B.O.B.'s song Stanley Kubrick, which explains a lot of this. The evidence is dubious naturally. An Apollo 11 sweater, landing pad-esque shapes in the carpet. Next up, another powerful and also like a sad theory, which comes from Toy Story.
To infinity and beyond!
Is that Andy's mom and dad are going through a messy divorce and is subsequently not featured. Sure, this is the obvious thought pattern, but there's more. The divorce, rather than his death, for example, is indicated by the complete absence of any image of him in any of the Toy Story films. It says here, if his dad were to have passed away, the lack of any photos on the stairs during the opening credits and total erasure of his life within a year or so, remember Molly is still a toddler here, seems a little odd. It makes more sense that he's absconded, and here are the clues suggesting it's divorce over death. One, as mentioned, the lack of any pictures and acknowledgement of him suggests he's walked out rather than died, possibly done something unforgivable. 2, when Andy's mom produces the Buzz Lightyear gift box at his birthday party, she's not wearing a wedding ring. Wouldn't she keep it on if her husband had recently passed away? It's a debatable but plausible argument that the marriage ended uncivilly. One counter-argument is that the kids could be adopted and their mom was never married to start with. A little far-fetched yet not impossible. 4, in the first film, the family are moving to a small house, which is a common occurrence in the wake of a divorce, with less household income with the lack of a second parental figure. 5, the family at the end of Toy Story get a puppy, which, as Negroni says, is a bit of a cliche thing to do in the aftermath of a parent walking out on the vulnerable children, or a replacement life to love and bond with.
Buster, come here, boy, come here. Okay, boy, to the curb. Yeah.
Very interesting. I never thought about that. It never occurred to me, but it definitely makes a lot of sense once again. Poor Andy. Next up, I have a very interesting theory from The Incredibles.
This is Sean.
That's fine.
I mean, I can break through walls, I just can't.
That's fine.
Get this.
Which once again comes from Reddit, because Reddit often has the best conspiracy theories out there. Because people seem to be freely able to talk about what they want without fear of being judged or shadow banned, etc., etc. So anyways, one of Mr. Incredible's first encounters with Buddy was the Bon Voyage scene, and soon after that, Mr. Incredible saw and told the police officers to take Buddy back home and make sure his mom knew what he's been doing.
Finally figured out who I am. I am your ward. Incrediboy!
And now you have officially carried it too far, buddy.
What's interesting about that phrase was the tone he spoken and how he made it seem as if he knew Buddy's mom. Now it may sound like a bit of a stretch here, but Psych Wave, the dead super, is his mother. On the bonus CD, it showed her intelligence level to be the highest of all the supers, and along with that, she and her team owned a secret base, a remote island which seems to now belong to Syndrome. Along with that, she was one of the first supers Syndrome killed with his machines because he wouldn't want her getting in the way of his plans. Now, let's say Syndrome was indeed her son, there could be a chance her powers got passed down onto him, even though we haven't seen that occur with the Parr family. Now, if you look at her few powers in the bonus CD, it showed Shockwave to be the smartest super, and we already know that Syndrome is undoubtedly the smartest character in The Incredibles, but what wasn't shown of his powers was the other ability his mother had that was also passed down to him. And that one ability listed was in fact the power of possessing another's body. Though she may be able to do this, her weakness also listed is not being able to control his physical body whilst in this stage. So saying Syndrome had these powers, in his final moments, he discovered the power and so he decided to use it. Of course, he had to act fast, so he possessed the closest person next to him before his death, and it was none other than Jack Jack. What? That's some wild stuff. That's a wild thought. So undoubtedly, his physical body was destroyed, but now he became Jack Jack, but not necessarily. He has control of Jack Jack each time he pops out of the dimension he disappears into. Along with that, in the first Incredibles, he had purple laser vision, but for some reason his laser vision color has turned to green in Incredibles 2. Never thought about that. Also, the raccoon fight may have been more than we could have even thought. The entire fight represents the internal fight Jack Jack has every day within himself, fighting for control against Syndrome trying to take over his body. What? That's almost like the whole Venom trying to take over Tom Hardy's body in the Venom movies. But he has this whole fight, but then they end up bouncing it out.
Because you're just a parasite.
Parasite?
And that's how Incredibles 3 will play out, as Jack Jack as a true villain hiding in plain sight. Just to add a little bit more, the Incredibles creators have been symbolizing this from the start, with Syndrome's spiked orange hair and blue eyes, just like a certain someone we know. But what I'm not sure of yet is if Edna is secretly helping Syndrome to gain full control of Jack Jack's body, because for all we know, they could have been doing anything while she was babysitting him. Did Edna play a role in this? Was Edna secretly working from behind the scenes to help out Syndrome and Jack Jack? And is she secretly working against Bob and Talon?
Fascinating. Oh my God. Yes.
And one response to this I saw, someone said, great theory, but I think there's a slight flaw. Jack Jack was not with him when he died. He was with his mom parachuting below while he got his cape stuck in the jet engine. You might say maybe he switched beforehand, but he was talking and screaming and trying to escape the engine before the end. If he had switched, you would think he would just ragdoll. Not only that, but that's also a lot to bring out of thin air that's not alluded to in the first movie. If they even mentioned his mom was super, it would be plausible, but they didn't. So it's a lot of jumps without evidence. And last but not least, this is incredibly dark, too dark for Disney. I know Disney has been dark before, but they would have to covertly come out and say Syndrome is possessing Jack and has been since before he died. I don't put anything past Disney, especially knowing Disney's origins and how Walt Disney was actually friends with Adolf Hitler, and he was connected to like all these occult people. There's also like the whole 33rd Club, which Freemasonry, and finally, to cap off this video, we're gonna dive into the Marvel universe and some of my favorite theories from there. We have a very interesting article here. So first off, Wanda's Whispers of War, how Age of Ultron foreshadowed Endgame. Remember that terrifying glimpse into the future Wanda gave the Avengers in Age of Ultron? Those weren't just nightmares, they were a prophetic peek at the devastation to come. Captain America's broken shield, Natasha's sacrifice, the weight of the fight etched on Bruce's arm. These chilling visions foreshadowed the brutal reality of Endgame. Sure, some of them played out a little differently. Captain didn't exactly fail the team, but the weight of leadership and loss certainly resonated. Tony's worst fear, sacrificing himself, became his ultimate act of heroism. Even Thor's fate, fulfilling the prophecy of Ragnarok, and how a lot of his people end up dying because of his sister, and how all of his people had to leave Asgard, mirrored Wanda's unsettling premonition. And let's not forget, Cap finally getting the dance with Peggy, a bittersweet echo of his deepest longing. Wanda's visions, initially meant to divide the Avengers, became a twisted roadmap to their destinies. They weren't just nightmares, they were a sobering premonition of the sacrifices and battles that awaited Earth's mightiest heroes. Very interesting. Next up, did Iron Man inspire Spider-Man all along? A look at the Peter Parker in Iron Man 2 theory. Die-hard Marvel fans know that there's a web of connections within the MCU, similar to the whole Pixar thing, but one theory takes things a step further, suggesting a hidden link between Iron Man and Spider-Man that predates his official debut. Remember the curious case of the young boy in Iron Man 2, the one who bravely stands up to a hammer drone and gets a pat on the back from Tony Stark himself.
Nice work, kid.
Well, some fans believe this wasn't just any random kid. They theorize it was none other than a young Peter Parker. So that kid, who's super smart and, who's helping Tony Stark with all of his technology, helping him hide out. Could that be Peter Parker? Maybe. Here's why the theory gained traction. The age lines up. The timeline seemingly fits. Peter's age in his solo movie aligns with him being the child in Iron Man 2. Nice work, kid. The way Tony addresses both Peter and the Iron Man 2 kid feels similar. The faint cry of Peter. Some fans claim to hear a faint Peter during the attack, adding fuel to the fire. The impact. If true, this theory has some interesting implications. A spark of inspiration, a young Peter witnessing Iron Man firsthand, could have ignited his own superhero dreams. A hidden connection, it creates a deeper bond between Tony and Peter, suggesting Tony unknowingly played a role in shaping the future web slinger.
So, you're the Spiderling, crime-fighting spider. You're Spider-Boy?
Spider-Man.
So is it true? While Tom Holland confirmed the cameo in Iron Man 2, it's important to note the child actor wasn't actually him. Marvel may have intentionally left things ambiguous to plant the seeds for a future reveal. Whether a concrete confirmation comes out or not, the theory adds another layer of intrigue to the MCU timeline. It reminds us that even seemingly insignificant details can hold deeper meaning, and that the heroes we love may be more connected than we initially realize. Alright, so since I'm running short on time, and since as I said earlier, I don't have time to edit this video because I'm going away in a few days, so we're just gonna do two more of the powerful ones from this article, and then I could always cover the others in a future video. So first off, we have, did Loki stay true? A look back at the Tesseract theory proven right. Remember that too good to be true feeling after Thor Ragnarok? Loki, the god of mischief, seemingly helping his brother Thor save Asgard from Herod's wrath.
Get help? No. Come on, you love it. I hate it. It's great. It works every time. It's humiliating. Do you have a better plan? No.
Reddit detectives weren't buying it. They honed in on a blink and you'll miss a detail. Loki lingering by the vault containing the Tesseract just before the destruction of Asgard. This sparked a fan theory that challenged Loki's supposed reformation. Fast forward to Avengers Infinity War. The theory exploded into truth as Loki reveals he snagged the Tesseract before Ragnarok, handing it right to Thanos. Talk about a mic drop moment for those Reddit theorists. Their keen eye for detail and an understanding of Loki's mischievous nature paid off in a major way. So like Loki actually played a major part in Thanos actually returning in Endgame. So Loki, as we know, mischievous, someone like who and I'm sure like most of you guys always seem to be like rooting for it to turn things around, but like never actually does. And this is just like further proof of that.
I know I've betrayed you many times before, but this time it's truly nothing personal.
See, Loki, life is about growth, it's about change, but you seem to just want to stay the same.
Next up, we have the Eye Unveiled. This is going to be the final theory for this video. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. So the Eye Unveiled, Doctor Strange reveals the Time Stone. The Eye of Agamotto. A simple pendant in Doctor Strange, it quickly became a source of intrigue for Marvel fans. Originally entrusted to the Ancient One, the Eye's true power was unleashed during Strange's battle with Dormammu. Time itself bent and looped, showcasing the incredible ability housed within the seemingly ordinary amulet. This revelation coincided perfectly with the growing buzz around the Infinity Stones. The post-credits scene of Avengers Age of Ultron had ignited a firestorm of speculation. Fans were on the hunt, piecing together clues about these powerful gems scattered throughout the MCU. With the space, reality, mind, and power stones already identified, the hunt for the remaining two, the Time and Soul Stones, intensified. The Eye of Agamotto's time-bending display sent a clear message to eagle-eyed viewers. The Time Stone had been hiding in plain sight. It was there all along, I guess. Now, we'll do one more. Stan Lee, the legendary comic book icon, wasn't just a delightful cameo in the MCU. He may have been a cosmic insider. Sure, his appearances were a fun way to honor the man behind the iconic heroes, but some fans theorized a deeper role, which I can definitely see that happening. His most significant cameo came in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Not only was his longest on-screen time, but it also hinted at a connection to the mysterious Watchers, cosmic beings who observe the universe without interfering.
Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted, at that time, I was a Federal Express man. I've got so many more stories to tell. Guys.
In the scene, Lee is revealed to be a storyteller recounting tales of various heroes to an unseen audience. Could this audience be the Watchers themselves? The Watcher informant theory adds a fascinating layer to Lee's cameos. He wasn't just popping in for a quick hello, he may have been a cosmic chronicler, documenting the extraordinary events unfolding on Earth. Very interesting stuff, especially considering how Stan Lee appears like on all these various planets in the movies, and he appears like in each person's own unique timeline and whatnot. So, Stan Lee, I wouldn't be surprised if he did like put himself in there as this like cosmic watcher of everything. Anyways, I hope you guys found this video interesting. I hope that you guys learned something new. I hope that like watching this open up your mind to like various new possibilities. But like above all, I hope that like this video was fun for you guys to watch. Anyways, I will catch you guys in the next one. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, be sure to drop a like, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts on this video. Follow me on every platform. Check out the book. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Stay critical thinking, stay questioning things. Peace.